So many fancy new cars out there, but what are people really buying? This year, the Toyota RAV4, still one of the best SUV bestsellers, 400,000 units each year worldwide. Wow, why is that actually? Let's find out together with Thomas Nautegefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go here with all the details of the current model. And we have it here in a special version, the GR Sport. Wow, what a look here for the RAV4. Not only that it's like this okay, you know, like normal practical car. No, it can also be really sporty. Look at that, this black mesh grille here. Also in the lower part, sporty accentuations. And it works very well with the contrast to the white exterior color. Modern daytime running lights. So I think they got a really nice rugged off-road look here for the RAV4. Usually it starts at 17-inch wheels. These ones here are 18-inch winter tires, but you can also get usually 19-inch then for the GR Sport model. Turning indicators in the front, pretty tiny, however, still fancy. And because they have this element underneath, it shines into that. And then again, I think the size is okay. Interesting, isn't it? Turning indicators in the rear, not so fancy. However, it's a nice signature here with the running light. And overall, the rear design is pretty cool, especially in the GR Sport. Look at that black contrast. And then we have this silver one right here. Once again, this mesh grille and no fake exhaust at all. So I really like it also from this rugged, clean rear design. 4.60 m or 181 inches is the length of the RAV4. Just right in that segment where it's not too big, but not too small. The VW Tiguan or the Hyundai Tucson or the Honda CR-V would be typical competitors. Here the GR Sport gets the black contrasting roof that fits the vehicle also pretty well, and another black contrast in the lower part here. And as I said, you can also get bigger wheels if you then stick with the summer tires, for example. This is the key fob, simple. And then you might think, oh, wait a minute, this is the remote for the independent heating or something. No, it's not. This one is an additional security token because even burglars love the RAV4. The Lexus RX and the Toyota RAV4 are among the most stolen vehicles in Europe. And that's why they have this additional security token. You cannot start the vehicle without it. It's a good thing that they do something against it because also insurance costs are rising for these vehicles. Yeah, but on the other hand, it's kind of like, you know, clunky then a little bit here in the pocket. Yeah, but you see, people love that vehicle, obviously also because of the reliability and so on. The RAV4 is a very reliable car. Rankings have more and more shown that. Then the door closing sound is not that special. That's nothing where Toyota pays special attention to. But here on the inside of the doors, nice leatherette covering. You can really see how it's also soft underneath. I really like that. Simple, however, more the, you know, like equipment here for the doors and so on, and hard pack in the lower part. Also no covering here from the inside. Then GR Sport steering wheel, special with this version. Also contrast stitches on the inside, real buttons at the steering wheel. New digital instruments with this update here now. And these GR Sport seats have microfiber on the inside. That's pretty fancy. Other than that, you also get fabric or leatherette then for the RAV4, depending on the market situation. And it's really nice from the comfort, also from the ergonomics, and enough space with 189 or 6'2". Really good also for tall adults. That's also why people appreciate the RAV4. It's comfortable, it's simple, straightforward. You exactly know what you're doing. Steering wheel, by the way, easily up and down, in and out. Manual control. Then we have a good view to these new digital instruments. They also switch according to the driving modes. Then that looks pretty fancy, doesn't it? We also have a head-up display that's projected into the windshield. And then when we take a look at the overview here with the soft touch leatherette, also soft touch on this top part. Ooh, and I love this here, this manual climate unit. It's really large. You can control it just while driving blindfolded. That's actually cool. And also here the vent strength. Everything easy and straightforward. Also here, the seat heating. Nice switch, and also from the acoustic feedback, that's how it's supposed to be. New updated 10.5-inch infotainment system. This is here the Apple CarPlay integration. Also works wireless. Android Auto is also available. And then here, this is then the normal main menu. Here you can, for example, see the energy flow. But they kept it actually pretty simple. That Mainly people will use here the hotkey for the CarPlay or the Android Auto integration, but you still have a manual volume jog here. And that's a good feedback also, so everything I need. Passenger side, there's a nice structure here on the inside of this cubby hole. Then the glove box is actually also dampened, that's nice. And then the middle console, I really like this large off-road-like shifting lever, why not? And then you also have the drive mode selector, push for normal, right side for sport mode, for example. It also gives a nice feedback, so yeah, pretty cool. And here this then the trail button to set everything for off-road driving. In the front you have inductive charging pad, which you can activate or deactivate. USB-A charger. The cup holes are really deeply in there, and then they're also adaptive, but everything's actually very well built here. Then the leatherette cover for this one. This one could be a little bit more fixed, I would say. Underneath, even more of that off-road light structure, and underneath more space and 2 USB-C chargers. The rear mirror can also be flipped, and then you have the rear camera mirror when everything in the rear is maybe fully packed. Rear seating, here the rear doors. Oh, there's a nice leatherette cover also on the top part here. So I like that build quality. Hardback just in the lower part. This trim here even has seat heating for the rear seats. Wow. Then also the nice microfiber inserts on the rear seats. You can, by the way, put these rear bench here a little bit, a little bit more upright like this. Then you have more trunk or sit more upright, and then you can put it in the more laid back position. The middle seat here is also usable, so it is actually suitable for 5 tall adults. And here the rear legroom also fits into the front seats. Headroom like this with 189 or 6'2". Very comfortable indeed, and a lot of space. So that's also one of the reasons why it's so, so popular. Just not adaptive here, these cup holders, but I think we can live with that. The thing that is counting is the space, and also really a good comfort. 2 USB-C chargers, by the way, now at the rear middle console. Trunk or boot, here with the electric hatch, around 520 liters. And let's see, what's really special is the width here. This is like 120 in meters or 47 inches. That's really impressive, and the still same here, just a little bit narrower here. This is this rugged all-weather mat. You don't have to go for it. There's a fabric underneath, and here space for the charging cable if you have done the plug-in hybrid version. And the normal length, like 95 centimeters or 37 inches. So very well usable trunk. To fold the seats, you can reach over like this, or then go around, so both is actually possible. Engines, 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, non-hybrid, like a North American market, then the hybrid, which is all over the place actually in all markets, front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and then the plug-in hybrid version, also called Prime in the North American market, over 300 horsepower then system output. Rear electric motor to give you that all-wheel drive then in this case, and 6 seconds in the acceleration figure. That's 2 to 2.5 seconds quicker than the other version then for the normal inbuilt hybrid. We'll also see if that makes sense. The net battery capacity here is about 14.5 kilowatt hours. So you will get some 60-70 kilometers of daily real-world range, so around 30-40 miles. Charging flap, by the way, is not so cool, I would say. 6.6 kilowatt, so also not too quick. Yeah, but then again, it's also not a really large battery. You really have to think about if the plug-in hybrid makes sense. It rather makes sense in markets where there are governmental subsidies and so on. Other than that, the built-in hybrid will also be very efficient. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the Toyota RAV4 Prime or plug-in hybrid. But everything I say will count for the hybrid and for the plug-in hybrid version, with some specifics here about the plug-in hybrid. So pure electric is 135 kilometers an hour, like 83 miles an hour. Then you can drive just on the electric mode here. The battery is of course bigger than with the inbuilt hybrid, but what is even more interesting is when I have it here kinda depleted, there still, is always like a buffer. And so even when I go to sports mode now and we do the acceleration, let's see if we can still get the whole boost. So here we'll start from 50 kilometers an hour and accelerate it out. Safety first. Let's go. Plop, that's 100. 120. Yeah, I mean, of course, it doesn't sound that great when you don't have like a real gearbox with different gears and so on. But it's surprisingly powerful here for a Toyota, because they usually don't focus on good acceleration. But here this plug-in hybrid version still gives you that power from that buffer. I mean, in most situations you will have more, like the full power still, even if you haven't freshly recharged, because it keeps this buffer, unless you do like, like really some very extreme brake acceleration, like, then maybe not, so, but in most cases it's still there and it's actually fine. And I have tested it now for quite a while, and I have to say, with some plug-in hybrids, they don't really work like the inbuilt hybrids when the battery is depleted and you have quite high fuel consumption. But here it does work. So you can score some similar fuel economy, somewhat like 5 or even a little bit less than 5 liters on 100 kilometers. So that's a good 50 mpg US or even some 60 mpg UK, and that's of course amazing for a car at that size. Really well done. And that also counts for the inbuilt hybrid, because you can use it in the very same way. So when I lift my foot off the throttle, then it depends on what's the status of the engine and how much electric consumers are on the inside. You also have this energy meter where you can check it out. So sometimes when you lift your foot off the throttle directly, the EV mode goes on, sometimes not. It really depends then. And you can also induce that here with the EV mode, or you can also put the battery hold mode to recharge the battery while driving, but that's not really an efficient thing to do. Best is actually to leave the vehicle in the auto mode and let the vehicle do its thing. Here now at 120 kilometers an hour, so like 70 miles an hour, let's do the lane change here. Suspension is a good setting actually, so it is not unsporty, it's not uncomfortable. I think they found exactly the right spot here, equipped with 18-inch winter tires. If you would have the 19-inch summer tires here for the GR Sport, of course the ride would be a little bit stiffer. But it feels good here on the German Autobahn. The only thing, and since we test a lot of German cars here, you're always asking me like, what is then the difference when I get the Toyota, for example? Yeah, it's not that silent on the motorway at higher speeds. So they don't pay the biggest attention to the noise insulation. Then again, they score better reliability figures, So from the comfort, the seats are actually quite nice. Also with the microfiber insert here in the GR Sport. They hold you tight, yet at the same time they give you good comfort. I can very well imagine long mileage in this vehicle. The only thing that is somewhat annoying is when you're driving a little bit faster, then it's kinda noisy here. That I have to say. And of course, even though the suspension is fine and the steering is also fine, so there's not a dead zone area, precise commands on the road. But the overall feeling of this vehicle, especially at higher speeds, when you then do a lane change, it's not that it would be much fun to drive, So the agility and driving dynamics from the Germans, that is what they do better also in this segment here. Now let's put it to even more speed. Let's see if we can score top speed here as well. It's a little bit windy outside today. But nevertheless, getting quite noisy now. 180 is like 185, 186, on the brakes. Then recuperation is setting in. Yeah, and the sound from the engine is of course not the most pleasant one, but still you feel very controlled and safe in that vehicle here. Lift my foot off the throttle and I'm in the EV mode, so engine is not running, and also the transitions here between the motorways. Here, when I steer it now, I have a good steering feeling, but it's not exactly fun to do it here, It's not bad. I still enjoy driving it because I love driving cars, but this vehicle doesn't give you this fun agility feeling, That is also not the focus of this vehicle. You just have to know that, So even though it promises here GR Sport and so on, that's more the visual part. Yes, the suspension is a little bit stiffer in the setup here in the GR Sport. That is true. However, I don't feel that it would make a big difference. And also when you're driving over some bumps or so on, it's not unpleasant or so. So that's actually fine from that setup. Yeah, here when accelerating, it always sounds like the engine is a little bit struggling, but it also has to do with the transmission setup. Here we go. Lane change here. Yeah, I think I would rather enjoy driving some slower speeds and just enjoying the fuel economy, which is really great, and not racing this car out basically. By the way, if we switch back to the normal, we just push it here, and then again lifting my foot off the throttle. It's also a different visualization. Here in this case then not the EV mode is on, a little bit too quick. So it always depends then. The electric moments you rather use in the city actually. So for example here, lift my foot off the throttle, EV mode when I'm at lower speeds, so like city traffic and so on, then you're often driving in the EV mode, even though when you use the plug-in hybrid with the almost depleted battery and use it like the inbuilt hybrid, most of the time in the city you are driving EV. So when I was doing some, city driving and so on, and there is this meter also in the instruments that tells you how's the percentage of the EV driving. And at this moment with motorway, it's like, even then it's like 1/4 of EV driving. Even, higher speed motorway, because sometimes you go over the throttle and so on. But in city traffic only, I had figures like 3/4 of the time, like 75% of the time, I was driving pure electric. And that's of course amazing. If you can recharge, that will of course make sense when you have the plug-in hybrid, then of course you have 100% if you like. That always depends then on your driving profile and how and where you can recharge. But why is it so popular? Great fuel economy, especially then in the hybrid versions. Good price-performance ratio. It drives very well. Yes, it's not the most engaging drive, but it's also very reliable and has so much space here. Yeah, these are all the reasons why it's still one of the best sellers. Now tune in to the competitors.